Hey, what's up guys? It's been a while since I have filmed. It feels like it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, but I just wanted to give y'all a little update about the art trail that was supposed to happen this first Friday. It didn't happen, but everything works out for a reason. God has a plan for everything, but I'll tell you what happened. So we go and set up at 12 o'clock on Friday, and setting up just means picking your section, putting your tent up, putting out the chairs. Me and my mom got the spot that we wanted. We tied our tents together, the legs, and we got like some rocks, not rocks, like heavy boulders and bricks to hold down the tent because it was windy. So while we were setting up, it started to sprinkle, and I'm like, I text my husband and I'm like, he asked how things were going, and I'm like, it's starting to rain. He was like, don't worry about it, it's gonna pass, it's not gonna be bad. So I'm like, okay, don't get discouraged, Raquel. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this with my mom. It's gonna be fun. And we set up. You know, we're having trouble setting up the tent first off because we borrowed my brother-in-law and sister's tent, which we have to pay them back, and I'll tell you why. It was getting very cold. It was getting very cold, and like I said, it started to not just sprinkle, it started to rain on us. So we finally got our tents up. We leave, and that's what normally people do. They leave, they come back 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then they set up the rest of their stuff with whatever they're selling, their displays, you know, that's what they do. First art trail, she told us, I'm surprised y'all are putting y'all's tent all the way up because, you know, we're supposed to get some really bad winds. And we're like, oh, okay, I think it should be fine. I think it's gonna pass, whatever. So there was a couple of people out there that already had their tents out there, but they, instead of pulling the 4-legged canopy all the way up, they just pulled it up where you can kind of see like maybe this much inside their tent. So, and they had it weighted down. We're like, we have it weighted down, it's gonna be fine, I don't think it's gonna be bad. So after we set up, me and my mom goes home, I go home, and the sun is shining. It looks so nice. I'm like, great, it's gonna be a good Friday night for this art trail. So I'm getting ready to go, and I start noticing that it's getting windy. I'm walking out the door, and my husband calls me, and he says, Bernadette texted me, and she said, we need to get over there because our tent has flown over. So I'm like, great, okay, I'm on my way. My mom, she's always early, so she went ahead of me, and I called her to warn her. She was like, oh, that's okay, we'll take care of it. So I get there, and she's helping me park, all calm. She's so sweet, helps me park because it's kind of getting crowded. Everybody's starting to show up, like all the vendors are starting to show up. And I'm thinking, oh, her attitude seems like good, like she's fine, like the tent's fine. Maybe somebody helped her fix the tent. I don't know. I didn't think nothing about it. So I park the car, I grab one of my big bags, and I walk over to the table and to where our tent is supposed to be set up. It was a disaster, guys. Like I said, 2 of the tents, I think they're 10, I think they were 10 by 10 tent, and we tied the legs together where they meet, so 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. They were blown over, like upside down, like embarrassing, broken legs, like it was so bad. It was so bad, and it was windy. It was still windy. So the canopy top is right here. The wind is blowing this way, so I'm trying to pull over the tent. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. I'm trying to pull over the tent, and it's just me and my mom. My mom's itty bitty, and it's impossible. and our legs are tied together. So my mom was like, let's just cut them so we can separate them. And then I had a piece of wood, like a wood panel, tied to each one with legs that was also like all tangled up in the mix. So we cut all that stuff off. So once we cut all the ties to the extra things on the tent starts to tumble even more. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot do this. It's just me and my mom. The wind is coming so hard that you can't even like maneuver the tent to fold in the legs, to scrunch it back up. It's just impossible with just 2 people. And at the time I was like, I didn't think about it, but I'm like, nobody helped us, like nobody, until one little old sweet man, he helped us. And you know, he could only do so much too, but man, he was a big help. He was a blessing for him being there. He was so sweet. So finally we got the tent turned over, broken. Both of them were broken. Like I said, one tent was my mom's and the other canopy was my sister and brother-in-law's. And it was so nice. Like their canopy had solar lights attached. Like it was our Texas Tech cover. It was pretty. It was nice. You know, they paid a lot of money for that. And it looked brand new. Or they hardly ever used it. But either way, like it looked brand new, so they took care of it. And that broke. We had to tell them that it broke. And it was, you know, it's kind of saddening to have to admit to them that we broke it. The wind broke it. So my mom was like, well, we don't need the tent to have, you know, to display our art and to sell our art, to show it. We don't need the tent. I'm like, no, we don't, Mom, but it's windy. We have no covering, no protection. Like the wind's just gonna carry all of our supplies and we're just gonna be chasing them the whole time, and it's just us 2. So she was like, you're right, let's just not do it. So we finally got everything in the back of her truck, and it was it was embarrassing. It was not embarrassing. I'm lying. It was not embarrassing looking back, because nobody paid us any mind. They were worried about their own booth, setting up their own stuff. So I mean, I know people saw us. It's obvious. 2 big old tents blown over with 2 little ladies trying to flip them back over. So people saw us. But nobody paid attention to us, so it wasn't embarrassing. It kind of was. It kind of was embarrassing, but for the fact that nobody helped us, but that one sweet man, I say forget them. I'm never gonna see them again, so whatever. So afterwards, my mom went to her house to unload. I went to my house, and we both like kind of sat around like, pity party, this sucks. This was supposed to be, you know, a good time for us to do something together, to, you know, potentially have some new people look at our art, new followers, make a little bit of money, and it did not happen. But like my husband said, and my mom, like everything happens for a reason. My mom's health is not 100%, so, you know, she would have been okay and fought Friday night. She would have been a trooper. She's so strong. But the next couple of days, she probably would have been hurting, and it probably would have been a down spiral from there. And then I had just gotten over my sickness, whatever I had. I was sick for a week and a half. So being out there in the cold probably was not a good idea. So it was good. I mean, we learned a big lesson. Get weights for your tent. And the funny thing is that the couple next to us, they barely set up their tent when we were trying to put our stuff in the truck. And they had just bought a brand new tent. It was like $150, $200. And they were like, their tent was not all the way up, like I had said. Their tent, you know, legs were showing, you know, just this much, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So whenever they go to try to set up and pull the tent all the way up where it's supposed to be, the wind's still taking it. So they were like, I just bought this. I'm not gonna waste the money on this wind. Like, because it was already breaking. Their frame to their canopy was already breaking. And they were like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, so who knows how many other people backed out. I'm getting stressed out talking about it. So who knows how many people backed out. But we did, and we took care of ourselves. We learned a lesson. Oh, and they had weights that came with their canopy. They had weights, and those weights, don't count on those, guys. Don't count on them. I think they were only like 5-10 pounds each. It did nothing for their tent. Like, it still wanted to blow away. What we did see is there was a couple of people that had 5-gallon water jugs on all 4 corners of their canopy, and they tied it to the top of their canopy, so their canopy was not going anywhere. I've known it, but I mean, you learn, you live and you learn. This is a new experience for my mom and I, so we didn't know how bad it was gonna be. It's funny looking back on it, but on that day we were pretty heartbroken. But we went to have a couple of drinks afterwards, just her and I. I was so mad, and then I got sad, but I kept it to myself. I was not ugly to nobody. I kept it to myself, and once we talked about it and realized that it was for the best, then we had a good time, and we have no regrets. You know, like I said, it's a learning process. So biggest tip, if you are doing a craft show, art show, whatever, and you're outdoors, get strong weights for your canopy, your tent, your setup. Don't depend on little rocks, cinder blocks, because that's what we did. That'll be fine. Yeah, biggest tip. 6 o'clock and it's already, I have my windows open, my bay window, and it's already dark in here. So I just wanted to tell y'all that funny, sad story, learning experience. So maybe that will not happen to you, because it was devastating in the moment. But that's it. And now it's time to focus on my Etsy shop. So let's get that started and we'll get that going. But before I say goodbye, I wanted to show you a few pieces that I have worked on. Hopefully you can see them. But this is the last piece that I've done. And this, I'm not planning on like selling it, uploading it, or nothing like that. I just wanted to have fun. Like, I hadn't done art since the art trail, so I just wanted to have fun. I used to do faces, paint faces all the time, and in my art journal and my like sketchbook, and when I first started doing like mixed media stuff, faces all the time. So this was my first one back to doing a face, and I had a really good time. I enjoyed it. I love the colors. I never used red, and I love it. Just having fun. So that one I finished last week. This one I finished up today, and it's just a little piece to get the creative juices flowing. That's the art that I have to show for today, and I hope that you can, like I said, take my experience and learn from it. And if you're doing an art show, art trail, anything like that coming up, good luck to you, and get some weights. Okay, all right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.